You know the feeling when you get to a place for the first time and it just feels right? Or when you with your special person, your partner, and it just feels right, you feel loved. The feeling of being with a bunch of friends laughing and feeling happy. So the idea of feeling something could be a very interesting one when we use it in the conversation around goals and being better, self-development, self-care. So I've been reading a book, I think it's the recent one is A Non-Anxious Life by Dr. John Deloney. And in there, and I've seen this clip on Instagram as well, he speaks about the way him and his wife talk about how they want their relationship to be in order to fix things. Is the simple question they ask is, what do we want this to feel like? So in a relationship with someone, what do you want it to feel like? And if you don't live together, then it could be just when you two are together, what do you want that to feel like? What do you want the relationship to feel like? If you do live together in the same house, it could be, what do you want your home to feel like? Safe, open to communication, friendly, playful. And once you determine that and you reverse engineer that back, you can start seeing the things that you need to work on. Because often when it gets to these places of self-development, self-care, it's often we focus on the negative. Oh, I'm so fat, I have to go and lose weight. Or I'm so anxious, I need to try and fix it. Or my relationship isn't great, we need to fix it. So the mindset skews toward the negative side. But if we can project ourselves forward and say, what is my ideal? What would I want this to feel like when I'm with my friends, with my partner? What would it feel like to not have, I don't know, my stomach jiggle a bit when I run? Or what would it feel like not to be anxious all day long? And then go for the feeling, because the feeling is something we can process on different levels. You can sit in a beautiful moment and you can rationalize this is pretty awesome. But also your lizard brain, your limbic system is also calm and it just feels good, right? What waking up with a huge hangover and imagine to yourself not to feel like that, you'll know what to do. If you have mental health challenges, anxiety, depression, imagine, I know it's hard, trust me, I know. What would it be like to not feel like that? And then start mapping the road to get to that feeling. It's a huge thing of how we perceive our growth as a human being, our relationships at work, for example. What would it feel like to be happy and productive in my workspace? What would it be like, or what would it feel like for my boss not to sit on my ass the whole day? Well, what would that take? Okay, cool. These are his expectations. This is what I need to do. If I do this, then that'll fix itself and the feeling will be better. It's a very interesting thing for me, and I've started talking to some of my clients about this as well, is what would you want to feel like in that situation? And it can be mapped to anything. Physical health. I went for a run this morning. What would it feel like not to get so tired during my 5-kilometer run? It would feel amazing. So if I want that feeling, I have to do some work to attain that. It's a reward. The feeling is the reward for all the work you put in. What would it feel like to come home in the afternoon to my partner, spouse, husband, wife, to come home and for it just to be loving and caring and fun and open to communication, rather to whatever other stumbling blocks there might be in the way? What would it be like not to feel anxious all the time? It would feel amazing. So what can I do to attain that? Well, anxiety is just an early warning system in your body that something's wrong. Anxiety is not the problem. The thing anxiety is trying to warn you about is the problem. And that thing is often the thing that's standing in between you and a great feeling of happiness, joy, purpose, gratitude, anxiety. It's about a feeling. So when you start looking at things that you want to achieve, and it's an interesting time of year because we're going into this New Year resolution thing, start reverse engineering for what would you want to feel like? What do you want to feel like when you wake up in the morning? Do you want to feel happy, energized, focused, motivated? And reverse engineer it back as to what you need to do to get to that feeling. When I got to Svalbard up in the North Pole for the first time, I walked off the plane and this just feels right. It feels amazing. It feels exciting. And I then have to do whatever I can to get that feeling again. So the feeling is the outcome. The feeling is what we want. It's the thing that makes everything worthwhile. But at the back end of that, there's work to be done. So instead of focusing on, oh, I'm so fat, I need to go and run, think of what would it feel like to be in great shape and run outside as the sun comes up. That feeling is worth it. Reverse engineer it back from there. It's an interesting concept, and I think if you can hack into it, there's a lot of good to be had from it. Good luck. Welcome to Monday. I'll chat to you next week. Bye for now.